What's going on, guys? We are back. We are here today for session number 2 of our Pathfinder First Edition non-Gestalt Intrigue game, The Package. This is our bi-weekly patron game, so Jason, Tim, Adam, thank you guys so much, as always, for your support. I say a lot on the channel, and I think I said this already, but I'll say it one more time because it's still, like, ironic to me how many people I've met and game with from all over planet Earth. And then now I have a bi-weekly game with 2 people from my home state and 1 person who was once stationed in my home state. So it's the closest I have to having a real life in-person group. But I digress. A lot of fun stuff happened on our first session. That was, like I said, that was my first time ever running an Intrigue game. And then when I hear positive feedback from you guys, it feels really good because, like, I'm just pressing buttons. I don't know how to intrigue. How do I tell stories? It attacks you a lot. Many attacks happen, but with words this time, and I guess that's intrigue. But if you guys have questions or anything about these, it's a bi-weekly game. I more than understand. I'm going to roll a d3. We're going to get some in-character reflections for you guys in exchange for your hero points, starting with the Gentle Reaper.
In character reflection. I feel like we kind of messed up and we didn't give it to who we were supposed to because of what happened. But at the same time, if he's not in the city, he really doesn't care. And maybe just working to get the next minion. And I really kind of want to know who these people are, but I also don't want them to know who I am. So we'll see where that goes.
Good enough for me. I'll take it. Take your hero point, my friend. Next up is Trinislan Talazin, our investigator.
Yes, I still will call teleportation sickness because I couldn't roll anything except a natural 1, it seemed. But I agree, we messed up. I personally blame the Kitsune a little bit on that because he seemed to be very amenable to the idea that another shifter should get it. And I also figured out the other guy is a drow, which kind of throws a minor red flag up there. Yeah, I think we messed up, and getting out of town was our best choice at that point. And that kind of covers it for me.
Fair enough. Take your hero point, my friend. Tim. I'm trying to make a myriad pun for how I was gonna give us your myriad reflections, but that doesn't work. That wasn't that funny. Just do the thing, and I will give you a hero point. And now I will be quiet.
All right. I'm not sure what was happening last time. I feel like we might have gotten it wrong, but also at the same time, it felt like everything pointed to it, in my mind at least, to him being the right person, but it also pointed to the other guy being the right person. The what was he? The king, the prince, the
mayor,
Admiral?
the mayor, the one who showed up at the
mayor.
very end. Yeah, he's a mayor. Anderon's all like little mayors and little.
Although
towns.
to be fair, I'm super happy that it went to this other dude. Because the first thing that the mayor's men tried to do was fucking kill us. So I'm gonna say I'm okay with it.
Accurate, fair enough. Take that hero point, my friend. More is good.
I was say even if we failed our mission, that if we're gonna he's gonna like send out people to kill us to get the damn thing. I don't care.
Now you can have your hero point. Fair enough, and we will begin. So the journey up the river from Augustana to Almas takes about a week. We talked just before we kicked this off, and this game will have, due to the nature of Intrigue, a sort of limited fast travel system. So if there's not going to be something relevant pop up between here and there, especially because we're leveling at checkpoints. Oh, by the by, they did level to 2 in one session, so well done, gentlemen. But there'll be a lot of like, you get on the boat, now you go here. Obviously, there will be some situations where that doesn't happen, but the only thing that really does happen in the week before you arrive at Almas is during the week, when you guys are asleep, all three of you are plagued by nightmares of the creature that Garrick became when he took the serum. You've heard of werewolves. Some of you maybe possibly might have even seen werewolves, but something like that, something like what he became, was definitely a lot more than a werewolf, and the ease at which he was able to tear everything that came after him asunder both scares you for fear for your life and in fear of what you may have created. Would all three of you please make a will save? Alrighty. So now the next question, I wanted to ask this before we got in, but I'm just remembering. Because of the nature of the game and the nature of alignments and things, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do the three of you trust / share information with the other two? As far as you know in character, everything's kind of hazy at this point. As the journey up the river continues, you definitely lose a little bit of, like, why you've done what you did and who sent you and what was supposed to happen. But you know that the three of you are associates. That doesn't necessarily mean friends, though. So before I flavor text any further, how do you guys feel about each other?
On a 1 to 10 scale, I'm gonna go with 7 for the both of them.
Oh, 10, of course, being your best friends forever.
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty close. The kitsune likes everybody.
Probably 5 to Trin and 6. So like 5 is middle.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I guess 6 to Trin and 7 to Myriad.
Sure. Alrighty. Trin?
I'm going to go 7 to sharing information, with the caveat that I tend to keep anything super secret about me super secret. And trust, I'm about a 5 because I'm a loner, and this guy is also a drow, and that one's something furry.
And now we've crossed that line with having a kitsune. It never fails. It always, of all the beast races in Pathfinder, it's always the kitsune that gets the short end of that stick. But okay, fair enough. So in that case,
it's because they're so short.
Oh, wait. I've only been furry a couple of times, and that was when I was really tiny. I was super cute at the time.
Yeah, cute little fox thing. Okay, so Trin is able to deal with the horrific images that he sees in his mind's eye when he sleeps the best of the three of you. It's pretty nerve-wracking. Myriad and the Reaper, however, fare considerably worse. It's not necessarily a bad thing yet in a mechanical sense, but it's all of you, all three of you, unless you want to try to hide it from each other, are pretty shaken throughout this entire trip. It's pretty obvious to even the casual observer, again, unless you want to hide it, that none of you are sleeping well. Lots of disheveled hair and bags under eyes and things. But again, Trin, of course, seems to be the one who's able to deal with it best. So that, do quick math here. So 3 for I don't know why I made a handout in Hangouts, or not in Hangouts, but in Roll20, when I'm just going to pop open a notepad file anyway, because that's what's comfortable. Well. Okay, so about a week passes, like I said, and you guys arrive at the city of Almas The morning comes abruptly, as a lot of them do lately for you guys, because again, as shaken as you are, that's just the nature of things right now. You vaguely remember getting off the boat. You know you definitely did get off the boat. That happened. That was a thing that went down. After that, you find yourselves just lost in a haze, almost, wandering the streets. The floor is yours, gentlemen.
All right. Can we go and buy some things? Because we do have a little bit of money. Not as much as we thought we had last time.
Yeah. And I will quickly shout out Chris Ward over at our Black Dragon Disciple Discord page for teaching me how the gold to platinum conversion rate actually works, as well as, again, making all the maps he's made for me, making this right up here. Mirrors are hard. I'm also looking at Twitch right now.
I don't think he's a jerk at all for like dividing our gold in 10 by 10.
Hey man, that's still a lot of wealth for a level 2 character.
It is.
It is. Yes, you may shop, unless there's something like plot relevant, or like, well, an inn is plot relevant. Unless it's plot relevant, we'll do it off camera though. Just so those watching at home don't have to watch us peruse like, maybe I want a dagger. Okay, here's 2 gold.
In that case, have I done my shopping already?
You guys have basically just come off the boat. Okay. There was nothing to buy on the boat, really, and again, it's kind of hazy for all 3 of you.
All right.
Let's find a place to start out as a base of operations for here.
Sounds good.
So
you guys dump out. Where would you dump out? Where is a logical place? You guys probably dump out at 8. You dump out... No, that doesn't make any sense. Where is the dock? I see the theater district. I see the bellows. I see... What is the Mugget? That sounds... Well, we're gonna... How many places are there on the map? There's 13. Here's a D13. That's gonna determine where the boats land. Because random stuff is important in this game. Okay, yeah, it does dump out outside the Palace of the People's Council. It's probably a little less like dump out and a little more like that was a convenient place for the man in his cargo ship to let you guys off before he continues up to Darkmoon Vale. The Andishan River is pretty crowded. The city is one of the biggest cities on Galarian. You guys get out, and again, the haze hangs over you from everything bad that's happened. But the city is the stark contrast to how you guys are feeling. Lots of people are out moving around. It's a very vibrant, lively city.
let's find a room to stay at. Let's hopefully get a good night's sleep. And then I definitely want to hit the university up.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, I'm on board with that.
Okay. Reaper, anything you want to do specifically, or are we just immediately trying to find a place to stay?
Place to lay my head sounds fine.
Okay. Let me get a little flavor text here. Alright, so you guys, as you get off the boat, a grand palace dominates the horizon. Not the horizon, but like the scene as you come off where you are. It sits with its back to the river, and you guys have to like work your way around it. There's lots and lots of traffic, both people moving in on official business and people hawking wares to people like coming to and from work. Also, it seems that there's a lot of people moving around that like they seem to live in the palace. It's kind of awkward because Anduin doesn't have the traditional monarchy. It's kind of like, imagine like if the senators of like the United States government lived in the Senate, that kind of thing. Like literally lived in the building.
Interesting.
You're able to find most of the inns up here are pretty upscale. And I'm not just saying that because I know how much money I accidentally gave you. There's a pretty nice inn not far from here. And judging by all the small children running around as you go in, you assume that this is where like the families of the people who work on the People's Council, where they stay to be closer to their loved ones. You open the door and there's a little gnomish woman. Her hair bright azure on this side. This side, what would look really bad with azure? Not really anything. Blue hair is like my favorite looking hair. Damn, I have made a bad decision. The other half, like a weird, like swirly
Amber.
chocolate icy amber. Ew, you gross. All right, yeah, fair enough. Amber, like literally, like what the bugs get frozen in is the color of her hair. She's pleasantly plump, sitting on top of the counter that people would conduct business, eating some kind of overfull sandwich, the meat and the lettuce and tomatoes sliding out both ends, and you guys come in and she looks just, oh, welcome to my humble. She begins choking on the food she's eating as she sees new things coming through. Oh, by the way, speaking of new things coming through, what does Myriad look like right now?
I was just thinking about that. I think I was a young trader the last time.
That sounds right.
I don't think I've changed, but I'll do a new disguise check just because. Do the first one. For some reason, it did it twice.
Well, a 41 and a 47 are both perfectly. I'll throw a d20 down, but the only reason I'm doing that is because in my metas we have to let natural 20s be awesome all the time, because otherwise I can't beat you guys. But I've rolled a 13, and my mod will never hit the 40s. So, as I said,
I was worried.
She begins. Yeah, she's just the best gnome. It's the amber hair. It gives her a huge circumstance bonus on smelling you out. She begins choking. She like she gets very, very like masculine sounding as a tomato just like flies out of her mouth, lands on the like guest book with a wet slap. Welcome to my establishment, young trader. Come in looking to do business. And his entourage. Rooms are 10 gold a night.
Ooh.
Almas is a very expensive city.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm getting that. Platinum a night. That's crazy. Okay.
With that in mind, the place, aside from her, she's a very stark contrast to the rest of the building. The place is very nice, very bordering on opulent fountains that are like someone has put a permanent prestidigitation to change to the water to the colors that match her hair, animate, and like mermen riding hippocampi, like not hippocampuses, yeah, hippocampi, like statues out of the water, firing fountains all over the place, eagles with some kind of permanent levitate spell, like the statues of eagles, the symbol of Andoran, hover over the fountain, and sometimes like one of the hippocampi will turn and fire a jet of water at one and it'll barrel roll out of the way. It's pretty nice.
Fancy.
I'm in if y'all are.
Yep.
Seems a little expensive, but I don't think that's going to be avoided here unless we do what we did last time.
What, steal? You horrible people.
No. Bum.
Oh, yeah, fair.
I was
Spot the
thinking.
place to go hang out. Yeah.
I thought you were talking, make a terrible mistake, then flee the city before everyone else is destroyed.
Accurate.
And I thought you were talking con somebody into giving us more money.
That's also good. All three of those things are wonderful things we can do here at the package of Pathfinder First Edition Intrigue game.
I'll go. What about like maybe just 8 gold for the 3 of us?
Ooh. Well, the +1 to haggle is relevant. I'll throw a d20 down. She looks offended. She glares at you and says nothing as she picks the tomato up from the guest book, extends her bottom jaw, well, not like grotesquely. She also is not an aberration, but just like, ah. Nope! She puts her hands over her chest, just glowers.
A platinum it is, I guess.
Trin, Reaper.
Yep.
I guess.
Yes, but does that include board?
She nods. A little too upset to have words with you, but nods a couple times, continues eating.
Then that sounds reasonable.
Without speaking again, she raises her hand, snaps her fingers, and as she does so, a pair of little sparrows, one dyed a brilliant azure, the other that weird amber, come flying in. One of them is a little stronger than the other. Well, no, we can do it in such a way that there's like a rope that hangs all 3 copies of the key to your room, and they wing them over, chirping and merrily being little birds, and they drop the keys on the table in front of you and then fly back to burrow, strangely enough, into the gnome woman's hair. She turns away and begins paying way more attention to her sandwich than anybody should. It doesn't look like it's that good.
Is she a Disney princess?
Nope, she's a Pathfinder gnome. It's close.
Okay.
She can talk to animals and has to do weird stuff or she'll die.
I was just going with the one wizard in The Hobbit.
Radagast. The birds in her hair rapidly polymorph into rabbits, still blue and amber, and they pop out. These are Rustabout rabbits, and I'd like to see you try, or whatever. I don't remember The Hobbit that well, and back in they go.
Well, in that case, let's head off to our respective rooms and plan to meet up as soon as we get settled in for a moment.
Okay.
Are we doing 3 different rooms? All right.
She did give you 3 copies of a key to 1 room.
Okay.
Good.
And as you guys get to that room, it is the nicest room that you guys have ever seen in your entire life. 3 beds, easily big enough to hold like 3 or 4 people, are lined up along the corners of the wall with like the privacy screens that you would expect on fancy beds, but these are magically enhanced so that like you pull it, it's silenced, it's darkness, no one will see you. There's a desk with a map of the region, not just Almas, like all of Andoran, a bigger map of like southern Avestan and the inner sea, like down to Absalom and like northern Osirion, and or rather, excuse me, like northern Garund.
Oh, do you have that map here on Roll20 that we can look at?
I do not, but I will get you a quick Google link. Well, this is a map of the inner sea. It's just like as far north as like Kyanin and as far south as like the top half of Osirion and Thuvia and Rachadum. I think the H has the when you say it. I'm not sure. That feels correct from what little I know of that language. There's a picture that you pick it up. There's cold water in it, and there's glasses arranged all around it. When you pour the water in the glass, you set the pitcher down, and the pitcher automatically refills. The glass appears to be made of like solid ice in such a way that like it's not cold to the touch, but even as you pour the like cold water in, it begins to like not steam, but you know when you pour like hot liquid into a cold glass, that effect. And when you drink the water, it's the most refreshing cold anything you've ever had anywhere. The place is obviously very magical, and it's really, really quite nice.
Ooh. I'm taking this. This is awesome.
All right. Of course, it is in fact a knowledge arcana check, is what it would be.
Okay, we get unpacked, and I'll ask everyone to come over towards the desk.
Okay.
All right.
Well, gentlemen, I think we made a mistake. And it looks like you two are as concerned about what happened as I am.
I don't really know what to think about it. I feel like we may have made a mistake, maybe not. It's like it seems like it might have been supposed to have been the mayor, but I mean, to be fair, the first thing he tried to do was kill us last week. So, I mean, you know.
They technically not. It was the admiral. And sometimes military men think too much with their swords and not enough with their skulls.
You're not wrong. Well, I mean, nothing can be done about it now, but...
I'm not so sure. They have a university here, and I would like to try to figure out what on earth that thing was.
Okay, that's a good idea. So you were wanting to go to the university?
That seems a good place to start research.
Okay.
Myriad, any thoughts?
Myriad is one who's been speaking. It is the Gentle Reaper.
Oh,
who is quiet
I'm
enough.
sorry.
Man, I screw up names all the time, both in real life and in character. I'm with you on that one.
I don't know if what you could say we did was totally a screw up. I think it's more destined to fail than a screw up per se.
Yeah, it did seem like everyone was given the information to get to us. So I'm wondering if there were, like, you know, if whoever gave this thing to us also gave the information to 3 people for us to give it to.
Just to screw with us.
Mm-hmm. But I still think it's a good idea to figure out what the hell it is by going to the academy.
And our former draconic employer is well known for wanting to play games with younger lived races. So, university, gentlemen?
I guess.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. Would you guys like to leave right now?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. What time of day is it?
It's, you guys show up, like, by the time you get all, like, settled in and stuff, it's like 2 in the afternoon.
Why don't we plan for the morning? Try to get a good night's rest first.
Okay. And then,
because I will be there a while.
Right, I got you.
Fair enough.
Okay.
We might also want to head by a market district if anyone wants to pick anything up.
All right, so we want to just spend the day out checking stuff out, and then meet back here tonight, and in the morning we'll go out to the academy.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, break. You know?
Break! And off they go. Okay, you guys are definitely able to do so. Nothing stops you from leaving the place you're staying. Is there a particular place on the map you might like to go? Or are we just kind of like wandering and shopping?
Smithtown,
maybe? I think I could find... That seems like a decent place to find some shops.
That seems to track, yeah.
I'll head that way as well because I'm looking for an additional weapon.
Alrighty. It takes you guys... Almas is, like I said, it's really packed. And it probably... Unless you guys want to spend like a gold each to grab a ferry and cross the Andishan River to get to Smithtown, it's going to take quite a ways to go on foot there. For now, I have this fancy thing here. So 14 feet equals a quarter mile. So it's half a mile-ish. And then that's... Can't math. It's like...
It's going to be about 3 miles, because we can't go straight.
That is correct. Unless you want to spend the gold and grab like a ferry. There are several little
Honestly, a 3-mile walk isn't that long. We've got hours.
Okay, sure. Fair enough. You guys make your way through the Liberty District. This is where like the much nicer part of town is. Several people make their way through as you like begin sliding through them. Everyone seems pretty busy and about like their own things that they're trying to do. You pass several civic buildings and a lot of really, even without like a knowledge check for the city, a lot of really famous restaurants that you guys have heard about. You pass a place called the Succulent Eel, which doesn't sound like the best place in the world to eat food, but it's known throughout this part of the world as one of the nicest, most, not extravagant, most like sublime restaurants in definitely all of Andoran, a lot of the Inner Sea. You pass a place called Totter's Barn, which it looks a little, it's kind of like... Oh, what's that place in Springfield where they throw the rolls at you? I can't think of the name of it.
Lambert's?
Yeah, Lambert's. You got it. It's kind of like, I can make those references because you guys might get them. It's pretty lowbrow. You can smell the smells of like home cooking comfort foods wafting out. You turn the corner and there's a plump dwarf man basically just juggling rolls about the size of like his face, and then he's just, oh, you want a roll? Here's a roll, and he throws one at an obvious elven tourist, and it bounces off the back of his head, almost contacts the ground, doesn't he? Mage hands it back up, and now that he has the elf's attention, he throws it at him. The elf just kind of like, I can't do it because I am weak, but he pops one of his eyebrows up quizzically, takes a bite of the roll. His face immediately softens. It's obviously one of the best tasting things he's ever had in his whole life. A few hours later, you make your way to the Thomath district. You have to pass through Mugget. That's a fun word to get to Smithtown. What's in Mugget? This place is a lot like, as you cross that bridge, the smell of really nice restaurants is rapidly replaced with the smell of like butcher shops. Lots of tall, ramshackle buildings form a maze of streets that you guys have to pick your way through. Lots and lots of mule carts loaded with the carcasses of livestock head down like a main thoroughfare to the very many, again, butcher shops all across this place. And the consequences of this, and the worst part of town, means that most of the roads are pretty lined with gore. The smell is not the best, but it's not like, oh, you're sickened, haha. Eventually, you do make your way to Smithtown. It takes a little while because there's a lot of moving through crowds and things, but you do reach the sounds of just the relentless pinging of hammer on anvil. The breeze is warmed by the fires. Breeze carries the tang of iron that you guys can all smell as you make your way here. Make perception checks. Well, Myriad is a little more concerned with that 10, with the smell of gore that becomes the smell of iron. There obviously has to be a point as you cross that little river there where the smells mix. And that makes me not hungry for the first time playing a game of Pathfinder with Tim. But but the Reaper and Trin both, they can easily pick out blacksmith shops of all persuasions, from all ethnicities of Galarian, from everything you want, essentially, can be bought here. The competition looks really fierce as well. You turn a corner and half a dozen dwarven stalls are set up, and they're all essentially selling the same war axe, but they just bear a different, blacksmith stamp. And you turn the corner and the sounds of just 10 silver, best war axe you've ever bought, I'll sell it to you for 9, 8 silver, and my word that it'll never break in combat, just over and over, stuff like that. It's loud, it's aggressive, people are vying with other people to just edge out the competition, basically. And you guys are here. What are we looking for?
Shop that sells some magic items, or can magic an item up.
Okay.
Or specifically a weapon.
Specifically a weapon. Fair enough. You could maybe find something. It looks like this part of town is a little more, not necessarily about the enchanting, and a little more about the making of the weapon in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a percentage choice. There might be somebody somewhere. There is not. Smithtown is entirely just blacksmiths, and really, farther you move through the maze of streets that Smithtown well and truly is, you realize a lot of it is just goods for construction, the shipbuilding industry back in Augustana, or farm equipment. As far as enchanting goes, to be honest, you might be better off at the university.
Okay.
Well, I'll go back to the weapons stalls, let them know where I'm going. I'm looking for a blowgun, some darts, and a sword cane.
Oh, sword canes.
Ooh.
All right, fair enough. We can do that. Alrighty, the percentage of dice decide your fate. 95. Okay, yeah, you definitely. The shop is a little sketchy. It's kind of situated in a back alley. There's, what race don't I use a lot that is a little sketchy? Well, it's a blowgun, so it seems to dictate to me that the shop seems pretty abandoned. As you approach it, a little anthropomorphic frog, about the size of a human toddler, the thing is barely 1.5 feet tall, climbs its way from behind the stand, and a little bright blue and green head pops over. The inspiration to make a Gripply monk and play Battletoads has just gone over me. But regardless of that, the little guy just, hello! Welcome to my shop! Never getting more than his eyes over the side of his own stall.
Good day. Actually, I seem to be more in luck than I thought. Do you have a good blowpipe?
The thing reaches one arm up over the top of its stall. It's it can barely see what it's... Actually, no, it doesn't. It's a Gripply. It reaches the rest of its head up, and its tongue shoots out of its mouth, Jar Jar style. goes down a little. The creature obviously has a lot of practice grabbing things with its tongue. And it does pull a blowgun. It's a little short for you, but you think it'll serve. It sets it on the table. Just, why, yes! For you, 2 gold pieces! Pushes it, like, across at you, and then it doesn't seem to realize how dangerous it is to stick its tongue like, down into this thing and then grab, like, how many? We'll say 10 darts. Set them down. It's a wonder it doesn't pierce its own tongue 10 times over in the process. Suddenly my tongue feels funny. Anyway.
Any reasonable target type objects?
Like something
for me to test it out?
Yeah. But nothing like, oh, there's a cat, shoot it. Nothing like that.
No.
But there's...
No, the dartboard on the wall.
There's not a dartboard, but there are several signs hanging that this alley appears particularly derelict. Derelict is a term you'd use for ships more, but you get it. There's a lot of signs hanging that used to say, like the blue kobold or the brass werewolf. If all the paint's faded off them. You could probably find a target there.
Do you mind if I try it out?
Go right ahead. It says as its tongue back into its mouth.
Well, I'm basically function checking it more than anything else.
Fair enough.
Because it is a little bit... might be a little off-size.
Mm-hmm.
So...
You try it out, it seems to work. Again, it's a little short, but like... You being a Siriani, you recognize a Gripply. They're from just... that was totally serendipitous. I didn't mean to do that.
Yes.
They're from just a little south of you. You know that these guys, like... Their weapons might be a little crude and a little tiny, but that doesn't make them any less effective. These guys definitely can, in some cases, secrete their own poison from their skin, and they'll often just, like, dart, fire it.
Yep. Well, I will try a diplomacy check, see if I can talk him down a little.
Sure.
So...
Ooh, that's, You try to talk him down a little. He doesn't... 2 gold! 2 gold! I'm already giving you the darts for free!
That sounds fair. I know quality work when I see it.
The creature nods.
And
I guess to nod, it would have to bow, because it doesn't really have a neck, so it...
Yeah. And in Osiriani, I'll say, at home I learned that your people are quite good with these.
The Gripply's eyes are already pretty wide, nature of the creature. Its eyes get a little wider as you speak. Not necessarily its native tongue, but a tongue closer. Just, oh! It's good to hear familiar sounds so far from the jungle. We do what we can.
Know that it will be appreciated. Though one other question. Would you know a merchant who would be a good one to talk to about a sword cane?
The Gripply brings one of its webbed hands up, and it strokes its severe lack of... Well, they have chins. It strokes its chin. Nope! I wouldn't.
You being in the business, I thought you might. But, thank you.
It bows again.
And I'm off to see a man about a cane.
Sure. Alright. Here's another percentage dice. Okay, sure. So, as you make your way out from this alley, you you turn the corner, and most of the Thomas district is very haphazardly put together. Lots of roads that make zero sense at all. Lots of people moving around, and it's not long before, without making a perception check, I am feeling generous. You see a man in a top hat. Well, not a top hat. This is Andrew in like one of the tricorn hats popular in the region, walking with a cane. He's trying to not make it obvious that he's following you. He's definitely following you. Are Myriad and the Reaper present as well, or are they en route to the university?
No, yeah, I'm present.
I thought we were all together.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Then the two of you also see this as well. This man he's trying to blend with the crowd. Whoop, I dropped a quarter. He's trying to blend with the crowd, trying to make it like he's not definitely following you, but yeah, no, dude's definitely following you.
Okay. I'm going to break off from the two of you. After like giving you like a little
friend.
I didn't want to talk to him. I just want to like break off and see where he's going, you know.
Okay.
So, like, just talking without,
Sure. All right. So I did roll a 1, and you are the first name on roll 20. So as you break off, you see again the dude is trying to not be seen, but he clearly turns to follow you. Trin and the Reaper both see this.
All right, and then I'm going to turn into like the closest alley,
Sure.
like as soon as I break off, and immediately I'm going to attempt to disappear. Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna become a fox, and then I will disappear.
Understood.
So, what time of the month is it? Or yeah,
It's been a week since the full moon.
So
we are waning gibbous, I think.
Okay, so that'll be +2.
Okay.
All right. All right. This is going to be a hard check, but there we go.
That seems good to me. 36, yeah, that's the thing. All right, here's my d20. The man turns the corner and obviously has no idea where you are. He turns, and as he breaks line of sight with the rest of Almas, he puts the cane is in his left hand. He puts his right hand on top of the cane and just in one quick motion draws his sword cane, holds the cane bit in his left hand up as an offhand weapon, and just, where'd it go? His voice is very gravelly, and it doesn't sound like the man is entirely human.
I elbow Trin. Found your cane.
Well, as soon as he took off after Myriad, I was going to tap Reaper with my elbow and, head over and start following him because he's obviously focused on Myriad.
Yep, that's fair. Well, then in that case, let me get Trin and the Reaper to both make stealth checks. Unless you want to just like turn the corner and aha, which of course you may.
I plan to, but hopefully I make a good stealth check.
Fair. He seems to not notice you. You come up behind him. About the time he draws the sword, he's, where'd he go? Looking around all over the place. Doesn't see you two.
Well, that was fortunate.
It was.
I'm not sure where he went, but that's a very nice cane. Mind telling me where you got it?
The man jumps about 2 feet in the air as you say this. And as he does so, his hat falls off and it reveals a pair of very devilish-looking horns. It's a wonder he was able to put the hat on at all with the amount of, like, off his head these horns are. His face is very angular with a goatee at the bottom, and the skin is tinged sort of reddish. His eyes are like jaundiced yellow. Very clearly to all three of you, the man is a tiefling who is trying to disguise himself, and he turns, looks at you. Does anyone speak Infernal?
I have a slot open.
Okay.
So I could.
He says something that doesn't sound very friendly in Infernal after, like, quickly composing himself, pointing his sword cane at Trin.
I smile, take a look at it, and say, seems to be good work. Again, mind telling me where you purchased it?
It's none of your business, human. Leave me to my work.
What is your work? Maybe we could help.
Yeah, sure, that could be fun. He looks you up and down, looks Trin up and down. I acquire things. You understand, of course. It's not easy out here for those like... And as he says this, he picks up his hat to cover... Most of his head is covered in the shadow of it because it's a little big for him. To mostly hide his tiefling heritage. Those such as myself. The three of you are obviously very new in town. You appear to be easy marks, especially when the young merchant boy went into this alley. Apparently there's more going on. Well, sense motive. That's a D3. I can't know. Apparently there's more going on than meets the eye.
Oh, you have no idea.
Quick question. With my linguistics, can I get his accent?
Yeah,
like
you totally
where he's
could.
from.
With a 28, he's definitely Andoran. He just was... The nature of tieflings in most of the world, usually when they are born, they are shunned, their mothers give them away. It's probably what went down. That check was actually quite good. That was a 28. You rolled an 18. Okay, so you get the feeling that this dude probably just came of age as a street urchin, and he's more or less... I realize I'm picking up the 4 degrees of success of the Pathfinder playtest, as I think I like that. That seems good to me. But it dawns on you that he probably maybe killed a person and took their clothes, maybe just stole the clothes, stole the sword cane, and it's just a disguise. He's probably little more than a common street thug.
Well, for a moment, I thought you might be from Cheliax, given your ancestry, of course. But, no, I would definitely say you're a local.
You say Cheliax, and his eyes narrow a little bit. The air around him gets noticeably warmer as this happens. No. My blood is Andoran, same as everyone else here.
I think you need to chillax a little bit.
Oh, the puns.
That's the welcome to Pathfinder. We try to be serious, but we're just making jokes for 3 hours.
Yeah.
No, the only reason I say that is because that's been coming up like 5 or 6 times in games recently, and no one ever makes the pun.
Fair, yeah.
Like, and I usually play with a bunch of punny people.
Mm-hmm.
They're not funny.
Yeah,
but nobody makes it. I'm just sitting here going, somebody's got to make it.
It's the first rule of the pun. Somebody's got to make that pun. The Hellspawn, because Hellspawn he truly is, looks the two of you up and down. So where's your friend? This is about to turn bad for me, isn't it?
Not necessarily.
Does it need to turn bad for you?
He's gonna roll this right. Okay, in your social identity, you do not appear as a drow, correct?
Correct.
You just look as a regular elf. Okay, gotcha. Well, you dark elves know. I'll just pull some Windhelm Skyrim out of this. It's what happens here. People like me are kicked around by people like, and he waves his arm in the vague direction of the Liberty District. People like them. 3 of you, 1 of me, already made mention of my sword cane. What do you expect?
Bargaining.
His eyes narrow. You see, like, as you say this, you didn't notice it before, probably because he was hiding it up the back of his coat, but a little devilish tail comes out, and he does not seem to be aware that it's lashing the ground, not unlike a cat when the cat is pissed off. It's the same idea. He's not the strongest thing you've ever seen, but everything just seemed to tighten.
Hold my left hand up. Calm. We intend you no harm, and in fact, we might be able to do business together.
What do you propose?
Information. Perhaps later a guide.
And in return?
Coin.
His eyes get a little wide. It seems to be pretty obvious at this point that he knows how much money you guys are carrying. Not quite sure how, but he seems to be pretty, like, he knows what's up. Make an offer.
Let's start with a question that you answer honestly. Do you know the shop that king came from? My guess is it came into your possession secondhand, shall we say?
The Hellspawn smiles as he does so. Rows of really sharp, they kind of just look like slightly bigger canines, but you know better, gleam. You know me all too well. The poor fool didn't know what hit him.
I've heard that story before.
Taking a closer look at the cane.
It's pretty nice. It's, without, like, holding it, it's kind of hard to tell, but, like, it looks like the tiefling knows how to maintain the weapon. The sheath also appears to be made of something a little more than the average, like, sword cane sheath, in such a way that he could use it as an offhand weapon, effectively, to, like, go into 2-weapon fighting.
Right.
Which, as you look at it, you realize is a little arbitrary, considering the, like, 6-inch nails that come off this guy's hands.
Yes.
It doesn't bear any specific hallmarks. You imagine it was probably made somewhere here in the city? Yeah, that's what a 13 gives you. Not a fumble, but not a whole lot of information either. Seems good.
So, solid workmanship, but no great shakes.
Pretty much, yeah. What you see is what you get.
So, my good sir, again the question. And I'll reach in for a silver.
Okay. The question being where he got the sword cane.
Does he know where it was made?
I imagine somewhere on the other side of town. Out here, we prefer. And as he says this, he drops the sheath of the sword cane and he flicks his wrist. As he does so, a dagger falls out of his sheath, like hidden in the folds of his coat, into his hand. More surreptitious means, you understand.
And I will twist my wrist and let the dagger in my wrist sheath fall out. Indeed, I do.
He smiles wickedly.
And I'll flick the coin to him, put my dagger back up. What part of town would you say?
Y'all are lazy.
Does the Reaper say that out loud?
No, but I definitely think it.
Okay.
The Reaper's not out right now.
Fair. Okay. Let's see if our friend... Yeah, okay, he does not get a hunch that you're a terrible person. The tiefling...
I'm not a terrible person. I take out the garbage.
Of course. The tiefling flicks his wrist, like as he does so. He cocks his hand up, and it's pretty artful as this dagger slides up his down his palm, up his wrist, back up into some kind of sheath apparatus. He cuts his palm in the process. It doesn't seem to really affect him. You assume somewhere in the Liberty District, where all the senators live. They carry these things so people like me can't get the drop on them, and then sometimes they come down to mug it and they get too drunk and, well, I get a nice new coat. He pops his collar.
Well, our business takes us elsewhere this afternoon, but should we wish to find you again, say we wish to, again, use your knowledge for a minor fee, where would we find you?
That should have been a percentage dice. Ignore that 12. I promise that's not a secret bluff check. I'll find you. My friends and I have a way of knowing when people are in need. You understand.
Indeed, I do. Be careful. Oh, and you might want to put your tail back in before you leave the alley. Goodbye.
Without breaking eye contact, he reaches his hand back, realizes that his tail has well and truly popped out of the coat. His skin's pretty red. He can't really blush. But it definitely darkens a little as you see his tail slide serpentine up his back. He bows very, very extravagantly and formally, left hand on his tricorn hat to keep it from simultaneously to keep it from falling, and also not so hard as to not impale it on his probably 1.5 foot long horns. The fact that they curve backwards and they kind of form a vague tricorn shape. We'll get a token for this guy, this random NPC we've encountered together, because he'll certainly appear more for later times, but it's definitely the horns go back, and that's the only way that hat stays on. But if he pushes too hard, they do point up, so it's through the hat. He disappears down the back alley.
And I follow him.
That's what I thought. Okay. Tim's being real quiet during this whole thing. Okay, sure. All right, yeah. You are able to do so. He doesn't seem to notice you.
So I'll talk quietly to Reaper. let's find, if you don't mind, let's find an apothecary shop. I think I may have a way to help us sleep more restfully.
That sounds wonderful, because as well as we have money, my need for mundane items is rather low.
Fair enough.
And unless we do some nefarious deeds, I don't think I'm getting anything that I really desire.
Fair enough. All right, so you guys begin looking for an apothecary. While that's going on, Myriad, the little tiny fox, follows this hellspawn as he makes his way back out, just seamlessly into the streets of Smithtown. He's a little, like, you get the feeling that when you guys saw him, he got a little cocky. But now that he's a little more aware that you guys exist, and therefore other people like you might exist, his ability to blend into the crowd is a lot more streamlined, a lot more professional. If your form didn't have scent, you're pretty sure you'd lose him.
Okay.
What would you like to do? Do you want to continue to try to follow him through the streets?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Let's see what happens. The percentage dice decide how bloodthirsty he is. I mean, what? He's not bloodthirsty. You could trust him. Okay, so you make your way through the crowd. Some people notice the fox. Some people, like, they don't necessarily, like, when I say notice, like, you have to either break cover or move directly under people's feet to get where you're going. So there's no way they can't not see you, but no one really does anything about it. As you move through, you definitely also see, like, dogs and cats of all shapes, breeds, and sizes, as well as a little more extravagant things as well. You imagine stuff that, like the rejects of the familiar shop, that kind of thing. Chameleons.
So I'm not out of place, is what you're saying.
Precisely. Maybe not other foxes like you, but chameleons that are a little too large. What else is good for familiars? Hares, I hear, are good for that +4 to initiative. No dinosaurs this time, but little rabbits that are a little too intelligent bouncing around. The tiefling, it's not long before he picks out a mark. It's a human woman. It's the day's beginning to wear on. People are starting to get off work, and in this part of town, the lifestyle is very wake up, go to work for 8 hours, get off work, get drunk, go to bed, wake up, work for 8 hours, repeat until dead. The woman is definitely very deep in her cups, and he just kind of appears in her line of sight, or not in her line of sight, like in her path, one hand on a wall, leaning against it. You can't hear what he's saying, but you imagine he's being very suave, and she seems to be eating it up.
All right. I'm going to continue watching.
Okay. About maybe like 10 minutes pass. She begins laughing at every little word this guy says, and it's not long before the two leave, his arm around her waist. Obviously going in the direction of another back alley. No one seems to notice.
Okay.
He'll break line of sight when he hits that alley, though.
Yeah, I'm still following him.
Okay, fair enough. Understood. I'm gonna make a perception check for the drunk woman. Wouldn't you know it? She doesn't see you at all. Okay, so it pretty much as soon as line of sight is broken, the man drops his sword cane, and you notice as he's walking, either his hands are in his pocket, plural. He needs more than one. He just like 2 hands, 1 pocket. That's strange. Or he like has his fist balled up really tightly in such a way that no one can see his claws. He drops his sword cane and just literally as soon as line of sight is broken, it's left hand over her nose and mouth, right hand makes like the jabbing fist, not jabbing fist, but like jabbing palm, and just claws in the throat. She cries out, squirms a little, and it's not long before she just kind of slumps over in the alley dead. The tiefling makes quick work, stripping her down to her small clothes, taking everything that might be of like vague value. A lot of it really isn't. The clothes are, I mean, they're not bad, but they're not anything to write home about either. It's kind of like, right now I'm wearing a black tank top. I don't think I'm going to get killed for it in the streets. But that's what's happened. That's basically what's gone on here. She might have like a silver.
So let me tell you my plan at this point.
Oh, good.
All right. I am going to continue to follow him until he gets home and goes to sleep, and then I'm going to slit his throat. That is my new plan.
Oh, good. Okay, fair enough. All right. Make another stealth check.
Okay. New stealth check. Stealth.
36 versus my inability to see you. Okay, fair enough. I didn't. That's why I had that 5% chance. 5% of the time, it works all the time. That's what we were going for. We didn't get there. So it takes probably the rest of the day, and he basically repeats this cycle with people who are not in their faculties, of all shapes, sizes, genders, races, everything, and it's just, he seems to basically be just taking their clothes. It's, these people obviously don't have a lot of money. He's skilled enough that he could go to like the Liberty District or the North End or somewhere where there's more money, and he could get the money there. But he's just like taking clothes, taking trinkets, taking maybe like a silver here, a couple copper there. Eventually, he does make his way to the entrance to Almas's sewers. As he gets to, like, I guess not like a manhole cover, basically a manhole cover, sure. As he gets there, he leans down and he puts his hand on the like dead center of the manhole. As he does so, As he does so, he takes his other hand and he slits his wrist with his claws. The blood pools down and it fills up the little like crevasses in the manhole, and then he disappears.
Okay, and I'm gonna go down behind him.
Okay. Now, when I say he disappears, he doesn't. The manhole never opens. He just simply like stops being there.
Oh, like he just like
He
disappears.
just, like, poof. Yeah.
Oh. Well, shit. All right.
He teleports.
Not necessarily.
Or something. Yeah.
A thing did happen.
Okay. I'm going to go examine the thing that he was doing.
Right, sure. Make a. We'll start with a perception check.
Okay. Yeah, I may not be able to figure out exactly what he was doing, but hopefully I can get enough information that that I can get some help figuring out what it was later.
That makes sense. Okay, so it's pretty dark at this point. It's in about an hour or so. You'll get tired. You reach this manhole cover and you see his tiefling blood rapidly just kind of dissolving into the manhole cover. At one point in time, it forms some kind of pattern, shape, perhaps a phrase, something. But by the time you reach it, it's so dissolved you can't really make much out of it. At least not like with a quick glance. You smell, in addition to the smell of humanoid blood, the smell of sulfur, the smell of burning air. Strangely, not the smell of sewage. You think you would, because like the manhole cover blocks line of effect, but not enough to where you wouldn't get like a whiff.
Okay.
You think you might be able to rack your brain for one more thing before the blood completely disappears?
Okay, let me see what I got. All right, I'm just gonna do another perception, and I want to like memorize as much of this as I can.
Okay.
so that I can like explain it later.
Okay, sure. That makes sense. Knowledge Arcana would work as well. Linguistics would work as well. 11 on perception. It's you get the gist, but not much more as the blood completely dissolves. Now you smell sewage.
Oh, all right. Well, I will memorize the area where I am, just in case the area specific matters.
Sure.
And then I will head back to the
squad.
Yeah, back to the hotel or whatever that we're staying at.
At this point, the hotel's probably the logical conclusion. Okay, so while all of this is going on, Trin and the Reaper are looking for an apothecary. You probably find that again on the other side of town. It's probably in the direction of the university, because that's where like the learned folk would be that would be spitting out potions. So you head back that way. It takes, again, it's about 3 miles. It's, unless you want to like drop a gold to take a ferry up the Andishan River to save time, there's a lot of squeezing back through people, making your way back through Mugget, moving across the bridges through the Liberty District.
Well, seeing how we've nobody's been getting good sleep of late.
Mm-hmm.
I figure I figure the Reaper and I are a little less willing to just hoof it all the way. Yeah, we can do it, but at this point, I'm happy to pay a gold to do it.
Okay. Oh, gentle one.
I guess.
Okay, fair enough. You both spend a gold. The travel is much, much faster this way. There's a lot of huge ships in the Andishan River, but the little gondola that you guys rent out can bob and weave through them, essentially, with little to no difficulty, and you do arrive at North End. It's, despite what you may think looking at the map, North End does also include the other two little peninsulas that you see hanging off over the edge there, and it appears to be the biggest of all of the regions here in Almas. There's a lot of smaller districts throughout the North End, where as you make your way through, a lot of different industries ply their trade. It's not hard to find an apothecary. Of course, if you were to head to the university, you would find the better ones. But there's a lot of Winking Skeever's. Well, the Winking Skeever's a tavern. A lot of smaller apothecaries. I can't think of any Skyrim apothecaries off the top of my head. You get the gist, though.
Well, I'm looking more for the components than something itself.
Makes sense.
I'm not looking for finished product because I can do that.
Yes, you can. In that case, the university is definitely a surefire bet. The individual shops might be hit and miss. You're essentially just trying to make melatonin, right?
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. That's probably pretty easy to come by, you think? People have problems sleeping all the time. It's a rough world out there. There's literally demons and things running around eating people. I would be taking a lot of sleeping pills if I lived on Galarian. Me, the one-hit dice, what even am, commoner. The Quasit kills me dead, let alone the Baylor. Anywho. It's not long before you guys come upon... a pretty good-looking... She appears at first glance human woman, but as you guys enter her shop, she looks up, and her hair, it's down over her face, and there's zero chance I can recreate this effectively. I'm cool, but I'm not that cool. But as she looks up, her hair, it parts 110% perfectly. The sun seems to shine exceptionally brightly on her face. Though, in fact, the door to her shop faces east, and there's no way the sun could directly shine in at this time. Her eyes are just the most beautiful emerald green you've ever seen in your entire life. And when she smiles, her teeth are, like, for this setting, they are unnaturally white. They are just pristine and beautiful. Just, oh, hello there. What can we do for you?
Yay, we've seen both ends of the spectrum now.
Yes, you have.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I don't get to use the plain touched very often. You guys both recognize an Azamar, yeah.
Okay.
Or she might just be really good looking, one or the other. And just fate seems to land exactly where it needs to. Hard to say.
Looking for some minor herbs. Nothing too exotic. Chamomile, valerian.
Steel?
As in you wish to steal them? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, valerian steel.
Oh, fair enough. I wasn't sure if you meant steal as in, like, leave that fancy elf stuff to the elves, or, like, as in, like, I'm just gonna rob the shop. Obviously, I want to play Skyrim really bad. That's what I'm getting at all of this. She smiles, and of course, I can tell you're practiced in the arts as well, though both of you don't seem to be from Almas. Especially you. Is that Gurundi, I see? The ears, obviously, unless are you hiding your elven heritage in any way, shape, or form?
I normally wear a hood.
Fair.
So
in that case, forget what I said. Obviously, you're not a half-elf, but you're definitely Gurundi. You're not from here at all. Where are you two from? As she, like, reaches down and she pulls out the shop is pretty nice, but this strong box is, like, it blows the shop out of the water. It appears to be made of, like, one solid piece of dark wood. She sets it on the counter. It's about like this, about like yay big. But when she reaches into it, her arm goes in, like, up to the elbow. She begins rifling through it. It's, to anyone else, if anyone else were to do this, it would look just messy and haphazard and chaotic, but as she does it, there's a certain grace about her that you can't really place as she begins pulling out little, like, bags about, like, size of yonder dice bag of what you're asking for. She looks up, smiles.
I'll smile back, take my hood down.
Oh,
say,
you're a half-elf.
It's at times easier.
I understand. Sometimes it's not easy for me as well, you know. Her eyes get kind of, like, sad and lonesome looking. Again, it's just like there's nothing this woman can do that isn't exquisite. Anyway, we'll call it a gold for both of these. This should be enough to set you back for about a month or so. Having problems sleeping, are we?
We witnessed something while not too long ago in, what's the name of the city we fled in terror from?
Augustana is where you guys came from.
An incident in Augustana.
It was messed up.
A monster. Something like a werewolf, but far, far worse.
Monster's nice.
I'm being polite for the lady.
She's gone from chaotically pulling stuff out of like a treasure chest of holding to getting, like, you bring up, like, it's hard sometimes to be a half-elf, and she gets sad as she commiserates with you, because it well and truly, despite what many might believe, it is also hard to be an Azamar, to just kind of, like, it's still just like, it looks exquisite as shock crosses her face. And oh yes, we've heard about that. Something happened. The Eagle Knights are recruiting. Something about a werewolf problem? Lots of people have gone missing in Augustana lately. The government doesn't want to respond, but the Eagle Knights are taking it into their own hands. As she says this, as Monster comes up, the Darkwood chest, which it opens facing her, it turns of its own volition. And as it does so, the lid snaps shut and just, Monster! I am not Monster! Now, they're not talking about you, little one. She strokes the treasure chest, like, on the top of the lid, and it's just like... It sounds not unlike a door opening really slowly, but also a cat purring at the same time.
I'll do a mild bow to it and say, I was not speaking of you. My apologies if you were offended.
It continues creak purring. Well, that's almost scarier than the werewolf monster.
Hey, I'm the son of a merchant. A talking treasure chest is not outside the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, that's fair. This is probably not the first mimic that you've ever seen in your career. It's a little uncanny for people to use mimics as essentially portable bags of holding, but that seems to be what's going on. The creature probably is getting something out of the arrangement. Maybe it's just pets and being in the presence of a celestial. Perhaps it's something else. It tends to vary. It seems very content, though like its mouth opens a little, and now you can see the sharp rows of teeth that have come out.
Welcome to.
And the Azamar puts her hand inside the mimic and scratches. What would be scratching the roof of our mouths is scratching the inside of a box, and it continues to purr. She just isn't he adorable?
And uncommonly useful, I would say.
He does what he can. Anyway, all of this will set you back a gold.
We will take it. You seem to be someone people would want to know.
She...
To the university. I'm hoping that learning more about what this thing was can also aid sleeping at night. You wouldn't perchance know someone?
Here's
if I need to roll diplomacy for that.
No, she's very helpful. She wants to help you. What I do know is if you guys know anything, you need to report it. People aren't talking about it, but I feel like there's more going on here. The werewolves of Andoran live farther north, and they don't... There was that time when they allied with the hobgoblins and they burned some farms, but something like this in a city like Augustana, it's unheard of. You guys fled the city. Do you know anything else?
Not much.
Myriad?
Far less.
Or not Myriad. Damn, now I'm messing it up. Reaper?
Yeah.
Admitting things comes with questions. Questions are never good.
Alright, so that sounds like a diplomacy check from the Reaper, a bluff check from Trin.
Finally rolled above average.
But on the other hand, Well,
You got a hero point.
you got that hero point. Now might be the time.
Yes, now is the
It's fair. Yeah, it is.
time.
Yeah, do.
Hey, look, not a 1. Okay.
Went from a natural 1 to a natural 18. That's why we have hero points, kids. But she natural 18s are her sense motive. She doesn't add quite as much as So, are you from?
If I need to, I can go with the student of philosophy bit. So my bluff convincing her
Okay.
would jump by 2.
Okay, that's fair. That would push it over because you're definitely
3.
fair. Okay. She, for a little while, her eyes get real big and she looks genuinely afraid and hurt. Still, just like as if her face was carved from marble, and it almost hurts you, both of you, to see her look that way. Reaper says that things come with questions, and that's enough for her to just kind of pivot away. But Trin just, you must be from El Shilad, aren't you? Dark skin, elf ears. On the Scorpion Coast? At Trin.
Slight bow. And my mother was from Gurundian.
See.
The Expanse.
Of course. Well, if what you're saying is true, then okay. If you don't know anything else, you don't know anything else. But it's okay. You don't have to hide yourself here. People need to know. And if you might know more, if you might have heard anything at some point, just promise me you'll report it. At this point, she looks a little worried, and she's removed her hand from petting her little mimic, and the mimic, like, it. You guys both know it could sprout little tiny tentacles, kind of like how a worm moves, and it could move that way, but instead it picks itself up bodily, and it like hop, skip, jump over to the Azamar and begins, not unlike a cat, just booping with the top of its box at her hand and making those weird door purr noises, and she just, oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't neglect you. She scratches the thing. Anyway, will there be anything else?
Not today. But thank you for the conversation.
Of course. What were your names again?
I'm Trin, and I forget what's his social name.
Yeah, Adam. What's his social name?
Spot pudding.
Hello, off-putting.
I had a name, and that's what's killing me.
Oh, God.
Because I thought of one, and I'm like, I never wrote it
Chuckles
down.
over here.
Man chuckles over here. Oh. I understand. When I was born, my parents named me after the river. You can call me Andishen. If you guys ever need anything, just my store is open 24 hours. If I'm not here, the little one, and she scratches the mimic, and the mimic, like, it steps up proudly, like it's turn to shine, and like it doesn't have a chest to puff out, but it well and truly tries its very best as a treasure. It leans back a little, is what it does. It put its chest out, just.
All it has is chest.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it literally is chest. It puffs itself out.
I was going to say it has. Of course, it puffs its chest out. It is a chest.
Puns hurt. Fair enough. Okay. So you guys get what you need, and it if Trin looks in the bags, it well and truly it looks like good stuff, and it looks like it set you guys back for like a month. That conversation took a couple hours. Is there anything else you guys want to do, or do you want to head back to your inn?
Reaper, I'd say let's head back towards the hotel. If we come across a place that might have a good sword cane, I might pop in. But other than that,
Okay,
I'm okay with that.
I'm good to go.
fair enough.
And I may be able to help sleep tonight.
Okay. In that case, you guys all reconnoiter back at the inn. As all three of you arrive, those little strange colored gnome birds, as you settle in, they fly just right in front of your face, and they flap, and there's a little, like, a bag that they hold open, and clearly it's a bag of holding because they don't have the strength to carry anything much bigger, and it's pretty obvious they're waiting for their next platinum for your next night here.
Yeah.
Wait, for the next night here. This is the first night.
Oh, yes, that's correct. Never
Yes.
mind. I'm so used to my players showing up, and here's some gold. I'm going to get my spells back. Off we go. The birds realize they're terrible, and they fly away.
A quick peep of apology and they fly off.
Does anyone speak bird? Any bird
Sadly-
empathy in the house? Off they
Empathy
go.
in general in this
Sense
house.
motive, DC 3.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so these guys, Reaper and Trin probably arrived back at the inn a couple hours before Myriad would. At this point, it's starting to get dark out. This is where Myriad is still just following that tiefling around, watching him kill people who can't defend themselves and take their clothes. Is there anything you two want to do before Myriad arrives?
I'll play with my chemistry set,
Okay.
and but before I do, Reaper,
Yes.
with this, I should be able to make something that will ease the ability to sleep. I don't know whether you would like some.
Is it magical?
No. Purely herbal.
Sure.
And I will make an additional dose for Myriad.
All right. We can make this as part of one craft alchemy check, I think. That seems reasonable.
Okay. Did you want craft alchemy or heal?
Craft alchemy. A 29 is definitely more than good enough. Yeah, that's a natural 19. Yeah, you kill it. It's at this point, it's just clockwork for you. Mortar, pestle, throw the stuff in, do, and there it is. It takes
Bubble, toil, and trouble.
Oh yeah, it takes about the time it takes to get everything together is about as long as it takes Myriad to arrive.
I get in and I look pretty pissed off.
In what form do you come back into the inn? Is it still Tiny Fox? Angry Tiny Fox.
Sorry.
No. I'll be the same young merchant that I was before.
Okay, sure.
When I come in, because that's what I was originally.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I kind of storm into the room. Son of a! All right, and I explained to them what happened about and about how he just disappeared and how he was killing people. I had a plan and it backfired, and it was very, very, very.
So what now?
Reaper looks up nonchalantly.
So I explained about how he when I was following him, he went and he was like killing a bunch of people for their clothes. And we're not talking like rich people for their like expensive clothes. We're talking like poor people for their poor clothes. And maybe a little bit of coin and stuff. And then I was going to follow him home, but he got to a like sewer grate, poured his blood into it, and then disappeared.
Definitely sounds interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can technically do a knowledge arcana check without a level in it.
You can, but
You can't.
You can only get a result of a 10.
Right.
So even if like that's like a 27, so you rolled a 15, it's the best you can get is a 10.
Yeah.
It's definitely something magical, but you're not sure. Again, in this setting, arcane magic is a little more prevalent than divine magic in the realm of the divines. Like, again, for those of us who might just be tuning in, restoration is miracle level magic, and anything more powerful than that is entirely just unheard of. The gods have turned kind of a blind eye to Galarian. As far as the arcane arts go, it's a little... Practitioners of the arcane are a little more, like... I'll put it like Joe does when he talks about his settings. They're either praised like Gandalf or they're hunted like the witches at Salem. He's probably more of the latter. The spellcraft check confirms that. Is probably a little bit of using his own blood to fuel something.
Yeah. Definitely something I would want to know, and just randomly killing people does kind of strike me as wrong. Oh, by the way, I have a nightcap for you if you would like.
Okay.
It should help you sleep.
Ah, okay. All right. Seems like a. All right. I guess we'll call it a night then, and we got a long day tomorrow.
Well, yes, you do, and all three of you, unless there's something else you want to do, you take the nightcap and sleep comes pretty fast. Trin obviously knows what he's doing. It's like you lay down, you pull the covers over you, and it's just gone. You wake up in the morning, and now as you wake up in the morning, because you have stayed a day, the three birds appear, waiting for the next platinum for another day of that room. It's very sing-songy, very, very Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, except they want your money.
Pony up.
Does anyone not want to? Who wants to go stay in Smithtown? Because they're miserly.
Now, just double checking. It's 10 gold for us.
Correct.
Individually or collectively?
10 gold apiece.
Collectively. Wait, you said, I thought it was...
Oh, yeah, no, you got one room. That's fine. 10 gold collectively.
Yeah.
3.33 gold.
Why is it doing that?
Hard to say. So you guys give them the money. They chirp melodiously and fly away. And it's around this time that all three of you, like, you collect yourselves. You begin to head out into the world. And it strikes all three of you that the memories that you have of Hermia, of the Gold Dragon Menkar, of really much of anything collected before arriving in Augustana at best is hazy, at worst, and the closer it gets to like Hermia, it's just not there. You definitely remember like your families, your loved ones, things like that, though it's considerably harder to grasp at, but other than that, it's just like a giant blank in all three of your minds.
Okay.
You guys head out, unless you want to respond.
No.
I'm just going to do a quick spellcraft check to see if that matches up with anything I know of a spell that does. Because I'm beginning to suspect that maybe we were messed with as part of the trial of the box.
That tracks, yeah. You guys, when you arrived in Augustana, it was definitely pretty sketchy. You didn't know, you knew you had a thing, you knew that thing was important, you know several people wanted it and were willing to kill for it, but you didn't know to whom it was supposed to go. And it dawns on you that you may have known at some point, or you may have known more at some point, and as you, from Hermia to Augustana, that information may have, in the same way that, in the same way you've lost the information now, probably happened then as well. Reaper gets up, and as, like, this information, it all, like, not to, like, make it sound like it's more magical than it is, but the information kind of hits you guys all at once. And Reaper just kind of, like, puts his he's not an Etten, puts his head in his hands, groans, and just, like, flops back into bed. It's pretty obvious he's not getting up.
Okay. Well, I need to go to the university. It's pretty sure that Reaper doesn't look so good. Before I leave, I'll give him a quick check over heal-wise, see if I can ease him while I go out and hit the books.
Sure.
Myriad, your thoughts?
I don't know. What's up? All right. So I missed it. Did something happen to?
You guys have the only thing that happened is Hatsumi. Hatsumi is his name in his social form. Just like he gets up and
literally. Okay.
Just
yeah. I see what's happening.
Falls back in bed. Also, you don't remember anything from before you get to Augustana, other than vague recollections of, like, your personal life.
All right.
As far as that heal check goes, it's
right.
Hatsumi appears to be like he's as fine as you two are. It just seems to be he's taking it a little harder than both of you, and just seems like he wants to be left alone so he can cope, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Let's head to the academy.
Okay, sure. You guys leave the inn, and it becomes a little obvious, like, as you guys step out and you see the sun is a little higher in the sky than you might have imagined. You guys slept a little longer than you may have intended. You know how it is when you're on a boat and you don't sleep for a week because you're dreaming of werewolf monsters. And then you take a sleeping pill and your body is able to catch up, and whoops, you slept 12 hours. It's like that. You step out into the streets, and the sounds of, like, normal business that's conducted here have been replaced, because you're not far from the Palace of the People's Council, with just open argument in the streets. Sides have clearly been drawn. On one side of the street, several men dressed in the regalia of Andrin's Eagle Knights, the tricorn hat, the jacket with the very Revolutionary Army soldier here in fantasy medieval land, arguing with, like, weapons not necessarily drawn, but like they're right there on the point of that, and on the other side of it, it's people dressed more in the garb of what you would expect to see from members of the council. The shouting, by and large, like, everyone is talking over everyone who's also talking over everyone, so it's really hard to even tell what's being argued. It's just loud chaos on the point of boiling over as you guys step out into the streets.
And by the way, I'm wearing my scholar's clothes.
Understood.
As opposed to my armor.
Gotcha.
That's a good idea. Let's go scholar. I'll be an old scholarly gentleman.
Sure.
Can I try and figure out what the arguments are about?
You'd need to get closer, but yeah, you probably could. It's just from here, it just sounds like a mess.
Might I suggest a younger scholar, unless you read as many languages as I do?
Yeah, sure. I'll be a younger scholar.
Kind of like a page. Or,
Speaking of, I need to make that check real quick.
That would be good, yeah.
There it is.
Ah!
Nope, that's not it.
That's very fortunate you accidentally clicked escape artist, because that was a natural one. Well done.
Oh, good.
Ah, you know how it feels.
Good. That wasn't my role.
And they also... People seem to have no idea. No one questions it as you move forward into the crowd, and it's voices on top of voices on top of voices, but as you get closer, you begin to, like... You can single out individual people who are less just rabble, 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 and more like actually have points to make. There's an older... The man is mostly human, but his skin is a little on the greenish side, and as he opens his mouth, you can see there's not necessarily like blunted tusks, but they're very... It just kind of looks like his canines are down here, and they're a little longer, and he's just... We need to send everything we have to Augustana now! The werewolves are growing too bold. If we let them sit, all of Andoran will burn. And across the way, in the senators, they appear a little less like the blue trench coat with the like yellow, I want to say like dress pauldrons, but that's it's not incorrect. The little like tassel things hanging down, whereas these guys are wearing just like formal gold, sometimes red, sometimes like a lavender colored robe with like a shawl that's blue. It looks not unlike the coats that the Eagle Knights wear. It just comes down to like the elbow. And just... We can't send all this manpower on a hunch. You know better than this. What will the Chelish think if we move that many soldiers that far west? The like back and forth continues.
Okay. So...
You, of course, know what they're responding to, because you were there.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear that word has... it's clear to Trin, because Trin got it from Ondishin, but word has reached the capital of the events in Augustana.
Alright, sounds good. So I'm going to suggest that we head to the academy.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are able to do so. It's... Once you clear, like...
Cane chops on the way.
Right, we'll see. Yeah. Let the percentage dice decide your fate. You turn the corner. As you make your way away from the Palace of the People's Council, and it's, like, most of the arguments happening on the steps, essentially. And, like... turn a corner, you dodge all of it, and it's around this time that, yeah, sure, that tiefling appears again. He just kind of, like, steps out from around the corner. This time, he's not dressed as like, an Andoran well-to-do. This time, he's dressed like a simple tavern owner, but it's obvious it's still him, because he's making it very known to you that it is him. He removes his, again, too big hat to reveal himself to you, and he smiles devilishly. That wasn't a pun, but that was a little too close to the... whatever. So, I hear you know more about what happened in Augustana.
We know enough that when it happened, we hopped the first ship and left.
That bad, huh? His voice has become a lot less gravelly and a lot more just like silken smooth. Share with me. My friends and I would like to know what's happening in the city. You know, when monsters attack. We, monsters, as hands trace his horns, tend to get caught in the crossfire. What's that sense motive to determine, Tim? Or not Tim, that is. I see a T for Trin, and I'm like, oh, that's Tim. Yeah. What's sense motive for?
Well, according to Myriad, he sweet-talked people and slit their throats. Mm-hmm. So I am rather skeptical of him in general.
That's fair.
At the moment. So I'm making sure he's not trying to use some sort of... I don't know whether he has a magically enhanced sweet talk ability or what, but I'm going to be very cautious around him.
That's fair. That's very fair. Okay, so based on what Myriad said, like, he didn't need to use magic to prey on people who aren't in their mental faculties, though it's not outside the realm of possibility for someone touched with infernal blood to be able to do so. He doesn't necessarily seem to be doing the same thing with you now, though his voice has changed just a whole lot.
Okay.
He could be, maybe, like, it's obvious and Myriad can corroborate this from following him. It's really obvious there's more to this guy than meets the eye.
Mm-hmm.
What that means, you're unsure.
And who are these friends?
That's for me to know. You understand. New people in town. Here's a d20 roll. I'm not sure who this acolyte is, but you have many friends. My friends prefer they keep their identity a secret, lest, the Eagle Knights break down where we live and burn us all at the stake. You'd think they would learn not to use fire. And as he says this, there's a little, brazier from last night that has, the embers of the fire still going, and he just, sticks his hand in the fire and leaves it sitting there for probably, 15 seconds, just making awkward eye contact to drive that fire resistance home. Pulls his hand out, there's smoke coming off it, it's on fire, there's... You understand, of course. Suffice to say, I will make a sense motive check. You seem skeptical. My sister has informed me that you were in Augustana when everything went down. I know, right? How strange. Someone like me, someone like her, and he doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of hair, but he, throws it back as if to be majestic and beautiful, and Trin's pretty sure he's talking about Anderson.
Yeah.
From the same two parents. Couldn't make it up.
There are a few playwrights in my native land that would argue with you on that, but yes, if your sister is who I think it is, she does have a rather flowing way about her.
We can't all be as lucky as old Anderson, can we? Got the looks, got the brains, got the love of our parents, got the education, got the shop, got the mimic that follows her around like a lost puppy. While her poor, dear brother must subsist on the streets, doing what we can to survive. Today, that's being a merchant. He, pops his collar again. You like to make deals. I'll make you a deal myself. And he doesn't draw his sword game, but he like picks it up to hold it two-handed horizontal, and he like passes it towards Trin. You have information I need. Be honest with me. And you may have this. It doesn't really fit the disguise anyway, you know, it's just so flashy. As he says this, he draws it and like flips it a couple times, puts it back in the sheath. They say it was werewolves. The werewolves would never dare attack Augustana in as much force as we hear. What is it really?
May I? I'll reach for the cane.
He goes to to hand it to you, but as you get your hand around it, he snaps it back. Just first tell me what I need to know. You understand. Dangerous times, monstrous werewolves, everyone lying to everyone. You never know who to trust. Puts the cane down, puts both his hands on the hilt top. Just kind of stands there waiting.
Fair, and this piece of information is worth more than the silver.
He smiles knowingly.
It wasn't just a werewolf. It was monstrous. I saw it kill people with a flick of the wrist. I give him a 30-second synopsis of my recent nightmares.
Sure. Okay. Do you withhold any information at all?
That we were part of its creation, and it was related to a magical potion that was self-administered.
All right, and make that bluff check. The tension is mounting.
And take my roll.
You used your hero point.
I didn't use my hero point.
There was a natural one on an escape artist check. Oh, wait, yeah, it was an escape artist check. You didn't have to. Fair enough. Okay, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, so take my roll. Do another bluff.
Who was it? It was Adam that used his. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Roll it again.
And this time I get a +2 because I get to use student of philosophy.
Sure.
Because I'm piggybacking on his lie.
Fair. Okay, sure. Works for me.
There we go.
That is considerably better. Natural 1 to natural 19. That is almost perfect. Almost perfect. Okay, so you say all this, and he begins eyeing you not unlike a cat would eye a mouse. His tail, this time he's making no real attempt to hide his tail, and he's also, as you're talking, you realize by the stamping of his feet on the cobblestone street that he's not also, like in this back alley, wearing boots. His feet are cloven and the hooves extend up pretty far. Like, it's almost like wearing like 6-inch heels. 6-inch heels. That's how big this dude's hooves are, and it just like clop, 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 clop on the ground. I see. I wonder what could possibly have made such a creature? Werewolves, of course, they exist, and here in Andoran, they're known to be particularly hard to kill. But this seems... He mulls it over. What do you think caused it? You saw it up close. You saw the thing rip people asunder. He drums his right hand, the claws on the top of the cane. How even? It boggles the mind. This is all you know?
Magic seems a good guess.
I see.
May I reach my hand out for the cane again?
One more bluff check.
He's so afraid of rolling that one.
Yeah, we are. Welcome to... That's not a 1. That's higher. Okay, so you reach out for the cane, and this time it's not his hand. This time it's his tail. It, like, just whips forward. The tail's a little longer than you would expect it to be, and it just, like, cracks you on the hand. It doesn't, like, mechanically do damage, but it definitely draws a little bit of blood as the tail just hits you in the hand. You know more than you're telling me. Out with it. Now. Both of you.
For safety's sake, that's all we can tell. I'm gonna go with diplomacy. Jesus Christ, come on.
Oh, rough. Then let's go somewhere safe. Perhaps I should introduce you to my friends.
Okay.
And you? Looking at Trin.
I know it was a very powerful spell. That's all I truly know about it.
There you go.
That's a little better. Alright. But diplomacy can't cover a bluff check, but he...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you mean to click bluff?
I meant to click bluff.
Roll bluff. I let the natural one on the escape artist not damn Myriad. So by that same notion, I must let the natural 20 on the diplomacy not save your butt.
Okay.
Bluff check, go. Okay, that's considerably better. He looks you up and down, mulls it over. I think we should let my friends decide. We've talked enough. The streets have ears. You understand, of course. If it's not safe to tell us here, it will be safe to tell you. From whence I come, I give you my word. No harm will come to you. We'll simply take you to my friends. We'll talk. Perhaps break bread together. Then you may go on your way.
Sense motive.
Okay.
Actually, I'm also going to do that.
That's fair.
I think. Yeah, there we are.
Okay. Respectable. I need to leave my d20 out. I don't know why I put it back in the dice bag, because I'm making secret rolls for bluff checks. Here we go. Alright. Myriad. Myriad's like, yeah, no, this guy's not going to hurt us. It's fine. We can trust him. He's right. It's not safe out here. But Trin, on the other hand...
I'm going to say I don't sense that he's going to kill us right away, maybe. But
Trin, on the other hand...
But I did watch him yesterday.
Trin, on the other hand, it's a little less, I promise you'll come to no harm, a little more, I promise you'll come to no harm as long as you're useful and don't lie to me again, is what the smile on his face as he says this. That's what you read from it.
Yeah.
Time is short, gentlemen. My friends await.
Out of game, I'm into it. I really want to see his friends.
I out of character as well. I am too, but the issue is which wins, my natural,
the meta knowledge,
my wish. well, that's just part of my character
That's fair.
is huge. Or the fact that this guy has killed multiple people already for no good reason. I mean, he does not strike me as a good person, no matter who his sister is.
That's
I
fair.
guarantee he's not a good person. We've established that, but can he be a useful person? That's what I want to know.
Well, I do have one metagame question real quick.
Sure.
Seeing how we haven't discussed poisons because I can make them
Okay.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have anything great, grand, and groovy and something that might be good against infernal creatures or their descendants?
You think you might be able to whip something up real quick. It's a matter of whether or not they're going to see you do it, though, is the thing. You certainly probably could try to throw something together. You have enough, like, reagents at hand.
Yes.
Without waiting for any further words from either of you, the tiefling
We're
turns. Okay, good. Smart. There happens to be a manhole cover not far from you guys. He moves to it, and you see him. Neither of you speak Infernal?
Nope.
He cuts his wrist with his claws, and he just kind of like, with the wrist that's openly bleeding, he just like throws it across the manhole, and the language looks pretty infernal, as it looks like it's just filling in the manhole, like where like official Andoran Manhole Cover Company Incorporated, established 46 whatever AR. It looks like it's filling that in, but it's really writing something in infernal. He begins to chant. Under his breath, it gets a little louder. It's definitely some kind of devilish ritual. He reaches out. The hand that's bloody sits on the center of the manhole. His right hand goes at Myriad. His tail goes at Trin. And unless either of you've consented, so I'm assuming you don't want to resist this, and he grabs both of you. And in a flash, all three of you disappear. Make perception checks.
Okay. Perception.
Respectable. Okay, so you don't really feel much of anything. Maybe like the slight jarring of like a sudden hot breeze as no longer you stand on the streets of Almas. Now somewhere in the sewers, but everything is tinged a very vibrant red. Lights hang from the walls and the ceiling that put off like a crimson light. The water that flows appears to be some kind of red liquid, maybe blood, maybe not. You can't really smell it because the smell of like ale and smoke overcomes both of you. All around you are several of the undesirables of Galarian in the eyes of the common man. Think tieflings, think orcs, think hobgoblins, regular goblins, even like a kitsune here and there. Floating around just openly in fox form, drinking, carousing, enjoying all the vices that humanoid kind has ever put together. In all of humanoid kind's existence, your housebound friend is standing betwixt you. He stands up, moves forward, turns, bows. Welcome, my friends, to the court of the meek. Everyone, these two know what happened in Augustana. Please, tell us everything. And as he says this, he claps twice, and the clap is unnaturally loud. Where you'd expect like a... Instead, it just booms across the sewers, not unlike like a bass drop. Everyone stops what they're doing, they turn, face him, face you. They all realize you're here now.
I will look at him, raise one eyebrow, point pointedly, yes, pun intended, at the cane.
So be it. He grabs it, puts it in the, like, locks it in the sheath so there's no chance of bad happening, and he throws it at you.
Right. A deal is a deal. Gentle persons. If there's a female, I will, address it to her.
Okay, sure.
You wanted to know what happened in Augustana. Here's what I know. We were in the city, and we saw it. It was like a werewolf on the Galarian equivalent of steroids.
Mutagens!
Actually, that would be the perfect term to use. It looked like a werewolf that had received perhaps a mutagen. Very strong magic nonetheless. And it grew and grew and grew. And I again give my 30-second elevator spiel of, here's what my nightmares have been recently.
Okay.
It's your turn. Enjoy.
Myriad, got anything you want to add?
Nope.
Okay. Actually, there's one thing I want to add. As you guys enter, Myriad realizes Myriad is no longer the acolyte he's posing to be. He is... There's probably a moment of nakedness as you realize that you must have passed through an anti-magic field at some point. And you, like, the magic setting is a little lower, but you know they exist. They're rumored to be the downfall of your kind, and this may be why the Kitsune are all in their normal form, because so too are you. Everyone sees you for exactly what you are.
Suddenly, everyone looks so much taller.
So, do you want to put a picture of what I look like on here? On here so he can see me?
I can. Is it the one you sent me from a long time ago?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I gotta do a bunch of scrolling because I didn't ever save it. Oh, scroll hard. I'm real glad you guys aren't super talkative in the Discord. Actually, I'm not, because that's the point of it. So we can all talk and be friends. Not the old man, not the actual fox. It's in here somewhere. Did you send it to me in a private message? You did, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I'm scrolling in the wrong place. Classic Tommy. Wrong place, wrong time. God, Eric. Man, when I first met you, I definitely thought your name was Eric, and you had a really high opinion of yourself. Okay, so... the real Myriad... I might actually let you describe her. I think you might do it a little better. I will, in fact, throw the picture on OBS, and I'll throw the picture on Roll20, but... Tim, if you would enlighten us.
Actually, I need to take a look at her again.
Oh, that's why. I see. Haha. Uploading to Roll20. And somewhere you are. Where are you? There you are. Into OBS you go.
So, as you can see, even though I usually play a male, definitely female. Yeah, I'm a female, like, little fox girl, and fairly tall, very busty. With yeah, the tail and everything. So that's a thing.
And now Trin knows he's been associating with a kitsune. It makes sense, because Trin Trin doesn't know a whole lot necessarily about a race that's like uncommon from, especially in Osirion, yeah, for sure. But you've definitely heard of the anthropomorphic foxes that can change their shape in the farther northern reaches of the world. They're often referred to as just like in the same like echelon as the tieflings. They're just thieves and tricksters and vagrants and up to no good and things of that nature. So it tracks that they would be down here as well if they've ended up in Almas alongside tieflings and Vishkanya, Nagaji, things that like proper humanoid society wouldn't want to see. All of them get pretty quiet as Trin recounts everything. The tiefling makes a mandatory foxy lady comment. No, not the case. Tiefling. Actually, you know what? We've broken. I'd like to put my images on in token form, but we've crossed that line, so I'm going to use this guy. I'm going to get a lot of flack from the Magic players that watch, but I still think the card is good. Tiefling. Who only we don't need to worry about the Eldritch magic coming out of his hand. You guys don't. That's fine. That doesn't hurt anything at all. I see. Well, what do we think, everyone? Is the man telling the truth? Or is he a trickster, a vagrant, ne'er-do-well? Looking in the direction of the kitsune, everyone gets a pretty big belly laugh out of this. But by and large, they seem to buy it. That's all we needed. Enjoy your time here in Almas, and if the Court of the Meek needs to find you, of course, we will. He claps twice, really loud. Both of you find yourselves back on top of that manhole.
Okay. Have I changed back to the other form, or am I still Kitsune?
You are still in your actual form as you pass back over.
Okay, I'm gonna run to the nearest like little alcove and then turn into something else.
Sure.
Anything else, quickly.
Got it. Okay, I feel like I'd like to call for because you want to do it quickly. You're under duress. Make me a concentration check. Charisma is your casting mod, I guess. Yeah, that seems accurate. Do that. Make one of those.
All right. Concentration. That is not a skill.
It's not. So it's a D20 plus your hit dice plus your charisma modifier.
So D20 plus 2 plus my charisma mod.
You got it.
So
okay, yeah, that's more than good enough. It's the shift is a little not, I won't say traumatic, but the shift is a little like it's a little difficult. You turn into go D4, I summon you. The old merchant from back in Augustana, but at first, like from the waist down, you're the young merchant, and then like you're a fox from like your torso to your chest, and by fox I mean like a tiny fox, not a kitsune. And then it's like from here up, it's the old man, but you retain your fox ears, and you get it together. You turn into what you want to turn into, which ends up being that old man in full, but you have to stop and just catch your breath first. That's probably the first time in Myriad's career that she's been caught shields down like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Not even sure what I'm gonna do about that. So I take a few minutes to like literally a few minutes to calm down, because that sucked, and then I'll go out and act like everything's fine. Hold on, because this is straight up a bluff check.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
All right. He can see right through me, I'm assuming. Yeah, yep. But I'll be like, all right, so let's let's go to the academy and see what we can figure out. Totally believable.
Yeah, no, not at all. So Trin, man, I don't even know what that sense motive. He understands Myriad's under duress. Though truly, Trin's probably not feeling much better.
I mean, he's got to be feeling a lot better.
Compared to you, yes, but... well, he's right here. How does Trin feel about all this craziness?
Are you able to speak, Trin? I can't hear you.
Oh no, he died again. You're muted, honey.
Yep, we can't. Oh yeah, you're straight up muted.
Is this better?
Yeah, you did it.
The wonders of technology.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I'm a little bit unhappy about that. The entire going to someplace dangerous I have no idea how to get away from. Not a happy moment for me.
Actually, really quickly, both of yous we're retconning just a little because for Myriad's sake we kind of have to, but both of you make quick perception checks if you would.
Oh, sure.
15 from Trin.
Perception.
And 11. Okay.
Jesus Christ, I can't roll to save my life.
Never
mind.
They're
not one.
Never mind. I didn't say anything. Pretend we didn't roll perception. Then I need to get your mods so I can make secret rolls. Oh well, whatever. It is what it is.
I mean, you've got my mods. You can just look it up in the...
Yeah, I definitely could. I definitely could just reach into the character sheets. Roll20 is a magical place.
That's the beauty of being the DM. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it is. I have the power.
The downside is sometimes you have so many freaking characters on there.
I have so many characters on there. I do too. The struggles of the pro DM.
I think.
Oh no! I think he actually might have cut out for realsies this time.
Oh no!
No, he's talking. We got him.
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
We can. We did it.
Yeah.
Now the sad thing is that's plus 11 with my mods.
I know. Mine's like plus 10, and I've been rolling low all day.
The RNG's been
Not
real
once.
rude to the package.
I haven't rolled one yet today, but well, I have rolled 8-1, but it didn't count.
It did not. Lucky you. So, anywho, forget that perception check happened. Trin can tell that Myriad's pretty upset. To be honest, you probably, you see Myriad turn the corner and you see the beginnings of her shape-shifting and it doesn't work. You see, like the beard pop out and get as long as that beard is, at the same time very, spry human legs with calf muscles no old man deserves to have. Unless he's like Master Roshi. That kind of level.
And then I start to shrink, and you see the little fox legs, and
you weep for the organs that must certainly not be able to function together for a couple seconds.
Yes, for those of us with kids, we get the changing Siwana.
Fair enough. Anywho, unless you guys want to react to that, there seems to be nothing stopping you at this point from reaching the university.
Yeah, let's head to the university and try to pull ourselves together before we get there. And that's directed at me as much as you.
Fair enough. Okay, sure. You guys reach the theater district and the Almas University with no trouble. It takes not that long, an hour or so to walk there.
I rolled the one check, but I didn't actually roll my disguise check. So
that's
let me
relevant.
do that too.
Yeah, we got to see if you made sure to get your ears back down and on the side of your face. Damn. Sweet. That's
Yes, I was
49. He's level 2.
I was very careful about it this time. I was like, must be perfect, must be perfect, must be perfect.
And perfect it is. Yeah, no. Boom. So you guys reach the university. It literally is described as being ivy strewn. That's well done. Good job, guys. You've literally walked into Harvard. Actually, you kind of have, because I've been giving you guys a lot of freebies. Knowledge local, if you have it, or history to learn more about the Almas University.
Knowledge local.
17. Trin got anything for me? 17 as well, and a 10. Okay, so by and large, the principal fields of study at the Almas University are law, politics, modern philosophy, history, things of that nature, which that tracks in Andoran for sure. It being a very forward-thinking region for the Inner Sea, though there's a pretty good school of zoology that's renowned throughout the Inner Sea. It's definitely smaller, but it is there, and it's through there that things along the lines of alchemy, things along the lines of the other physical sciences are linked. Both of you approach. There's nothing stopping you from entering campus, but the university is also known for having very few openings. Though technically any Andoran citizen can apply, very, very few people ever get accepted, and thus, much like in the rest of Almas, competition is super fierce. You could try to the goal here is to hit a library and get some knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
so to do so, you could try to walk in one and talk your way through it, but the librarians will know, and so will security and the various professors, etc., that you guys don't belong there, and then you'll be asked to leave. It'll be awkward.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest that we hold on for a second. That we wait around, we find a professor or something. I'm going to turn into said professor, and then I will be like, "This guy is with me," when I go into the library.
Good enough for me?
Why don't we try to find and talk with the professor directly first?
Okay, we could do that too. We're gonna try that first.
It doesn't take long. Yeah. A pretty graceful, despite her, even for her advanced age, elven woman makes her way down the walkway. I won't necessarily say the quad, because I'm sure the terms aren't a 1-to-1, but y'all get the idea.
Yes.
She, with the knowledge locals, you know her name is Felindrel Morgathai. That's a mouthful. She also serves as the school's provost. You guys know she's held that position for much longer than either of you have been alive. Well over 100 years. She notices both of you. Well, technically you haven't stepped on the grounds, and even then stepping on the grounds isn't a crime. But she doesn't acknowledge either of you. Her over large black eyes cross over you. She says nothing. Continues going about her way.
I will step onto the school grounds and wait for a moment.
Sure. You do so. She doesn't. No one seems to stop you or really even notice.
If she's heading a direction, I will follow.
Okay. Are you trying to do so surreptitiously in any way, shape, or form?
No.
Okay. In that case, she definitely notices you. She turns around. Yes, citizen? She looks you up and down.
Yes.
The dark skin clearly indicates you're not a citizen. Oh, pardon me. Yes, tourist?
My name is Trimislan Tellison. I am from Osirion, and I am a scholar. I wish to know if I may make some use of your library.
Okay. You say you speak Osiriani. Do you happen to speak ancient Osiriani?
Yes, I do.
In flawless ancient Osiriani. It probably just sounds like some like demon magic to Myriad, unless by some stroke of serendipity you just, I'm gonna pick ancient Osiriani. She just,
Nope.
Ah, I see. How wonderful to have one from such a storied land come to our humble university. Unfortunately, our libraries are only available to those who have paid tuition. We're not accepting any new applicants at this time, but may the grace of the Fourthbringer, Kemet III, light your way to an enlightened future. And at this point she begins just kind of saying pointless nothings in a very flowery language at you, kind of down her nose.
Right. Perhaps if we paid in a different coin, knowledge for knowledge.
She cocks her eyebrows. Her lips purse. She gets very, like, almost as if to not believe what you just said to her. She's a little dumbstruck.
We were in Androshan a little over a week ago.
You were where? Oh, you must mean Augustana.
Augustana.
She blinks a couple times. That means...
Yes. We saw it.
Make it social check.
Okay, social would be...
Diplomacy, intimidate, or bluff is what I mean. Your choice.
Let's go diplomacy. Great fears. I can't see the chat line whenever I go to the sheet to roll.
Oh God, yeah.
So I hear the beep and it's always like...
Yeah, no,
Yes,
same. I'm sitting like here's my camera to like pop it up and forward. There's a screen in front of my mic and it covers both of my monitors. So when I'm like this, that means I'm looking at a monitor to see what someone rolled. And it's like, oh, did you do? Oh.
So you can actually pop that out. If you go to the top left of your character sheet.
Yeah, the two rectangles that are like hooked together. That'll pop it out.
Yeah. If you click that, it'll pop it out, and then you'll be able to like put the character sheet on the same page.
It is very nice.
That's what I do.
Anyway, the 16 on the diplomacy check, fine, but it will cost you. Normally we don't make exceptions, but in these times, you understand, of course. Oh, perhaps for you and your friend there, the quiet one. She, for the first time, takes in Myriad.
Duh!
And that's where we'll call... No. It's tempting. She blinks once, blinks twice.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Do you want to call it now?
Nah, I got a little more things we can do. It's very, very tempting. Maybe if y'all were a weekly game, not a bi-weekly game. I don't want to sit for 2 weeks on this. That would be mean of me. Okay, so she looks at Myriad, blinks once, blinks twice, and then Myriad, the breeze picks up, and it's around this time that you realize when she began speaking in ancient Assyriani, It well and truly did sound like some demon magic, and after what you saw earlier today, it's a little unnerving, and when the breeze picks up, you feel your right ear is not at the human part, it's at the fox part. So you're doing this right now, and the breeze like blows back on it, just your eyes get real wide, and just... You may enter if we may study the kitsune for 1 week. We don't get many of them here in Almas, you understand. Of course, no harm will come to her. Him, them, whichever you may happen to be. But if we could further our knowledge of the race, perhaps we could understand better how it is they do what they do, bridge a gap of understanding. Of course, the normal tuition fees for both of you will apply.
If you want to study me for a week, you're gonna have to pay me.
Social check.
Let's see. That's gonna be. I'd like to say bluff, but I'm gonna go diplomacy.
Fair. She blinks unfazed.
Man, why can't I roll? Yeah, it's a roll of 2.
It is, yeah. That was a 2, and Trin's got a 7. Oh, rough. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, Foxling. 10 platinum from each of you. We study the kitsune for 1 week. You have a week's access to the finest libraries in all of Andoran. And surely you can find whatever it is you need there.
My friend's decision is his own.
Well, Myriad?
I will...
hold on.
May we discuss this for a moment?
Yes, but don't waste my time. I have a lecture in... No, I'm late, actually. Discuss quickly.
Yes. Couple steps back.
She takes a couple steps back as well and turns away from you to give you the privacy you ask for.
Yeah.
All right. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, the more I know, the more we have a chance of figuring out what we need to do at this point. And if nothing else, I want to know what we can do about that thing if we ever run across it again. Yeah. But I can understand where you would not be interested in staying here. I
mean, I can do it. The 10 platinum is going to be a problem though, because what I want to do is going to cost me 200 platinum, and I've only got 203.
Session 3. The gang gets day jobs.
Of all of us, I'm the one who can get the day job. Yeah, so, can I get day job?
How about you pay all of the platinum, and then my part is a guinea pig for a week.
If you are willing, I will even pay the 10 for you.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
20 platinum would.
Yeah, it'd be 20 total.
Yeah, I think I have that much. It's going to come close to tapping me out, but yeah.
Okay. Is it? We got.
Oh.
I don't think you.
No, we got 200 platinum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then no problem. I'll pay for both.
I was gonna say, what I want is going to cost me 200 platinum.
The
That's
best
why I
libraries
can
in
afford it.
Avestan.
Yeah, it's super good. 10 platinum, like you guys definitely robbed an excessively rich merchant, but 10 platinum would set a lot of people back for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys agree, Morgathai leads you to the library, and well and truly it is the nicest, most expansive collection of knowledge that Trin has ever seen in his life. Same with Myriad, but Myriad, well... Uh-oh, there's a bluff check. What's the bluff check for?
Me trying not to drool.
Ah, fair.
Oh, fail.
The week passes. The studying of Myriad is very, very unobtrusive. It's just kind of like someone will walk up and just, excuse me, may I see your tail? And you turn into yourself and they snip a little bit of hair. And then off they go to study it, or like sometimes a blood sample is drawn. Sometimes they ask you to turn into the things you can turn into. What we'll do is, in the Discord over the next couple weeks, the three of you discuss what you want to learn. It gives me the joy of a bi-weekly game is it gives me a little more time in situations like these to prep what's going on and to like build around it. So the things you want to learn, the things you want to do, we'll role play out what happens next time.
So yeah, don't tell him that I'm actually a female. I just want to, like, you know, I didn't catch your reaction when you found out I was a female because you were still so we couldn't hear you.
Yeah. That was the Foxy Lady comment.
It was.
Oh, okay.
So-
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix showed up for a little while and then he took off.
Yeah.
Anywho, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And hey, if you showed up on Twitch, as always, we are Black Dragon Gaming. We are your #1 source for Pathfinder 1st and 2nd edition content. You want it, we've got it. On YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. And we'll be back at it in a couple weeks with another episode of The Package. Say bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. I gotta get my Donald in. Bye.